Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. Today we're talking about the absolute unsung heroes of our electrical systems, circuit breakers, and exactly how we keep them in fighting shape. These devices are the backbone of electrical safety in any industrial setting, and honestly, it's about time we gave them the spotlight they deserve. Here's what we're looking at today. We'll start with what these breakers actually are, break down the three main types, hit those crucial safety protocols, walk through both phases of maintenance, the physical checks and the testing, and wrap it up with a solid maintenance schedule. Let's get right into it. All right, Section 1. What exactly is a circuit breaker? Just covering the basics here. You can really think of a circuit breaker as the invisible bouncer of your entire facility. It's an automatic protective switching device that steps in the second dangerous electrical conditions show up to threaten your equipment or your people. And the real beauty of it, unlike a standard fuse that you have to toss out and replace once it blows, a breaker interrupts the flow, safely contains all that massive energy, and then boom, you just mechanically reset it and it's right back on duty. So, what are these bouncers actually looking for? Mostly, they're hunting three main villains: short circuits, overloads, and earth faults. Short circuits happen when current completely bypasses the normal load. Overloads are exactly what they sound like, drawing way too much power. And earth faults are when electricity decides to take a detour right into the ground. When one of these anomalies hits, say a massive surge from a short circuit, the breaker acts in literally milliseconds. We're talking blink of an eye fast. It physically separates its internal contacts, stopping the power before wires melt, equipment catches fire, or worst of all, someone gets hurt. Moving on to Section 2, let's look at the three main breaker types you're going to run into: VCBs, ACBs, and MCCBs. Now, I love how this lays it out by their working environment. First up, MCCBs, or molded case circuit breakers. These are your local security guards. They're compact, encased in molded plastic, operate at lower voltages, usually up to about 1600 amps, and you'll find them hanging out at motor feeders or distribution boards. Step it up a notch, and you've got ACBs, air circuit breakers. These are the high current lobby guards. Still low voltage, but they handle massive currents up to 6300 amps. They actually use air to extinguish the electrical arc, which makes them the go-to for main switchboards. And finally, the big ones, VCBs, or vacuum circuit breakers. These are the heavy-duty vault doors. We're talking medium voltage here, anywhere from 11 kV to 33 kV. By using a literal vacuum to quench the arc, they interrupt power incredibly fast and reliably. You'll see these beasts in power plants and major substations. Okay, Section 3, safety first. These are your absolute critical protocols. Listen, you don't just crack open an 11 kV VCB on a whim. Before any maintenance even begins, you absolutely have to apply lockout-tagout, LOTO. No exceptions. This guarantees nobody accidentally powers up the system while your hands are literally inside the panel. Next, confirm zero voltage. Use a strict test before touch protocol with certified gear. Never just assume it's dead. And lastly, suit up. Use your proper PPE. Depending on the gear, we're talking insulated gloves, safety helmets, and if the risk assessment calls for it, a full arc suit. Honestly, never, ever skip these steps. All right, we're suited up. Let's hit Section 4, Maintenance Phase 1, the physical checks. We'll cover steps 1 through 4 here. We start with an escalating sequence. Imagine you're standing right at the panel. Step 1 is a visual inspection. You're looking for any physical damage, cracks, or overheating marks, and just making sure the mechanical alignment is spot on. Step 2, we double down on electrical isolation. Confirm it's in the off position, and this is absolutely crucial. Discharge any stored energy from the spring mechanisms in your VCBs and ACBs. You definitely do not want those actuating by surprise. Step 3 is all about cleaning. Get in there with dry air or a vacuum and meticulously clear out all that carbon dust. And Step 4, get your eyes directly on those critical electrical contacts. Now, right here is where our routine really splits, depending on the equipment. VCBs and ACBs, they need deep internal inspections. You're getting in there to specifically look for pitting, erosion, and measuring actual contact wear on the main and arcing contacts. But MCCBs, totally different story. They're typically sealed units. Unless you've got a specifically serviceable model, you're pretty much just sticking to external condition checks for those. Moving right along to Section 5, Maintenance Phase 2, which is testing and finalization, steps 5 through 10. Okay, Step 5. We manually and electrically test the mechanical movement. You want to make sure the open and close operations are super smooth and verify those spring charging systems. Step 6 gets us into the core electrical health. We're running Make-R tests to check the insulation and micro-ohm tests to make sure contact resistance isn't creeping up too high in the ACBs and VCBs. You're also checking trip coils and running secondary injection tests for relay coordination. Then step 7, the functional trip test. This is where we verify the whole shebang. We guarantee the relays trigger exactly when they're supposed to for overcurrents, short circuits, and earth faults. And that all those tripping times are perfectly within spec. Almost at the finish line now. Step 8 is lubrication. Apply the specific recommended grease to moving linkages, but hey, don't go crazy here. Over-lubricating just turns into a magnet for dust and future headaches. Step 9, tighten and check the torque on all power and control terminals. You have to hit the manufacturer's exact specs. And finally, step 10 is your pre-flight checklist. Make sure the unit is spotless, covers are secured properly, protection relays are fully reset, all earthing is removed, and do one last continuity check before you ever think about energizing the system. I really want to pause and emphasize step 9 for a second. Neglecting those proper torque specs directly creates a loose connection, and a loose connection under a heavy electrical load basically acts as a resistor. That generates heat, and heat means a massive fire risk. Precision on this step is absolutely non-negotiable. All right, bringing it home with section 6, the maintenance schedule. Let's talk about when to actually do all this. So how do we build this into a realistic timeline? It works like this. You want a routine visual inspection every 3 to 6 months to just catch the obvious external stuff. Then step it up to full preventative maintenance, running through those testing protocols we just talked about every 1 to 2 years. And finally, for those massive VCBs and ACBs, you really need to schedule a major mechanical and electrical overhaul every 3 to 5 years. Of course, you'll want to scale that timeline depending on just how harsh your specific operational environment really is. Knowing all this procedure is great, but it's really just the first step. The real question is, when was the last time your silent guardians were tested? Are the breakers in your facility secretly overdue for a micro-ohm test or a really thorough cleaning? Take what we covered today, go check your maintenance logs, and make absolutely sure your equipment and your people are fully protected. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.